Good morning, this is Ismails, fifth graders for reading. Today you have to read a passage about frogs and then answer the questions. I opened up both parts about frogs, the passage at the top, and then I can switch to the questions. I will need to keep going back and forth to answer the questions, but before we do the questions, we'll need to read. Frogs. Read the paragraphs below, then answer the questions. Frogs belong to a group of animals called amphibians. The word amphibian means two lives. So why are frogs considered to have two lives? It's because they live in water and on land. Frogs begin their lives in water as eggs and then tadpoles. Once they fully develop, they spend most of their time on land. Frogs are cold-blooded creatures, which means their bodies are the same temperature as their surroundings. When they are cold, frogs will lay in the sun to warm up. If they get too hot, they will go into the water to cool down. Frogs are found all over the world on every continent except Antarctica. You can probably locate them near ponds, lakes, or other slow-moving or still water, but you won't find them in the ocean because frogs can't tolerate salt water. And here's a picture of a frog on a lily pad, and then this is a picture of tadpoles, and I know that because the caption says tadpoles. So now I can switch over to the questions, and it says, what is the main idea of the first paragraph? And I believe you're supposed to take these and put them on the answer. So it says, what is the main idea of the first paragraph? I can go back to the story, and this is the first paragraph right here. So I'm going to look at them, and it says, they're talking about them being amphibians, and they have two lives. They live on the water and the land. All right, so let's go and look at our choices. Why frogs are in the amphibian group? Why frogs like water? How frogs jump. And if you picked A, you got it right. Frogs are in the amphibian group, and I believe that's right here in the first sentence, and that makes the most sense. Number 2, based on the information from the text, which statement is true? A, frogs spend all their life in water. B, frogs spend all their life on land. C, frogs spend their life in water and on land. I think that was again in the first paragraph. It says, it's because they live in water and on land. So it wasn't just one or the other, it was both. So we'll switch back here, and the answer that tells me to live on water and land was answer C. Number 3, based on the information from the text, what is another word that means the same as tolerate? So tolerate is in the second paragraph, and they put it in bold print to help me find it. So I'm going to read the sentence again to see if I can figure out what tolerate means. But you won't find them in the ocean because frogs can't tolerate salt water. So that means they don't like salt water. They don't want to be in the salt water. It's not good for them. So does tolerate mean endure, live, or swim? Well, live and swim don't make any sense. So endure, and if you're not sure what endure means to be able to sustain, to tolerate. Number 4, based on the information from the text, which statement is true? A, when it's cold outside, frogs are cold. B, when it's cold outside, frogs are warm. C, when it's warm outside, frogs are cold. Now, I think even if we didn't read the passage, answer B and C make no sense. I mean, when it's cold outside, frogs can't be warm. That just doesn't make sense. And C, when it's warm outside, frogs won't be cold. So the only one that really makes sense is when it's cold outside, frogs are cold. But I could check that right here because it says when they are cold, they lay in the sun to warm up. And I know that I don't lay in the sun if I'm already warm. And so the only answer that makes sense would be A. And that was a pretty easy worksheet today. Make sure you highlight your answers and then turn it in.